I'm Kendall, but she's not Brittany. She's Colleen.
I'm definitely not Brittany, but I am Colleen. Hi, guys.
He's still Mike.
I'm still Mike. Hello.
Still Mike.
I'm just Mike.
I'm just Mike. Oh, welcome to the show. Brittany's off today. She'll be back tomorrow. Colleen is in. YouTubers, if you don't know Colleen, where have you been your whole life?
Oh, please.
Oh, my gosh. Colleen hosted a show here on My Talk for how many years?
Well, I worked at My Talk for 20 years. Bradley and I hosted a show together for 10 years.
So a while.
A long time.
She's been here for a while, people.
Yeah. Like not as long as some of the equipment, but close. I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
Just saying, I am holding this microphone
As she
up
holds
currently.
her microphone up.
So it doesn't
Because we can't
fall
do it
over.
any differently.
Oh, Lordy Almighty.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, right off the jump, let's talk about this. I know, Mike, I walked into the new studio, to the studio today, and you said, have you seen this? Michelle Trachtenberg has died. She's 39 years old. If you are like, why does she sound familiar? Gossip Girl alum, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was on Nickelodeon for years with Harriet the Spy. Do you have any more information about this? I know we just found out this morning.
Yeah, we just found out this morning. It sounds like the latest update was that she did go through a liver transplant not too long ago, and it sounds like, according to reports, it just didn't. Didn't take,
Mm-hmm.
and that is what ultimately led to her mother finding her dead this morning. So horrible news there, of course.
Oh, it's so sad, and it is a reminder to the world that celebrities sometimes die because of medical things,
Right?
and speculation about people's appearance, etc., and speculation about a cause or manner of death is just not helpful.
No, I
when
mean,
people are grieving.
I feel like you hit the nail on the head, because I hadn't thought about her in a long time. You know,
Right?
it's just one of those celebrities that it's not in a bad or a good way. You're just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, I loved her when she was on the Nickelodeon shows, or oh, I loved her in Gossip Girl when she was Georgina. But yeah, there's been a lot of buzz on her social media that, oh, she's so thin, her eyes are a little yellow, she's losing hair, she must be on meth.
Which is a jump, right? That's a pretty big jump.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
And then you find out, oh, she had a liver transplant. Those are also all the signs that you're very sick. or
Right.
That there's something wrong with your liver.
Yeah. Yeah. It's terribly sad. It's terribly sad for her family and for, her loved ones. And just really kind of came out of the blue.
Yeah. And I know, as we just said, like, Mike, you're in the blinds a lot. You've seen a lot, and you were like, you actually made the decision. Like, I'm not going to talk about any of these blind item things because it just seems really speculative and weird.
Colleen knows very well about the blind items
do.
and the sources we normally get from the blind items. And a lot of times, anytime there is a celebrity who maybe got their start in Nickelodeon in the Dan Snyder era, you're going to see lots of things in the blind items about the way they were treated and what they had to go through. And Michelle was no exception to that. So she went through, and actually she got her start on Pete and Pete, The Adventures of Pete and Pete. And then for me, Eurotrip was the movie that I just really remember her from like crazy, because I watched that movie a ton, released in 2004, a ton through high school and stuff. But yes, to your point, we see that a lot. And I think that's just like Colleen mentioned before. Jumping to the speculation or jumping to some of the rumors or the blind items and things, probably not the.
You have to be careful. And we all know how much it happens, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody's doing it right now with Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
And you just have to be really careful because there may be other explanations for all kinds of things.
Like what someone's going through. I remember her so much from Harriet the Spy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this like just shows my age, because this was a 1996 movie about a girl who was like taking notes in her little notebook that we all had. It was the notebook that it was like that cow print on the cover.
Oh yeah, the black and white.
Yeah, so it's like it says private across the front.
Yes.
Because that would really make sure no one looked at it. But she was just this little like spy kid, and we all thought it was so cool.
Yeah, based on the book.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So she was an actress that I think a lot of people really loved and really enjoyed, and it's sad. It's just sad.
At
All around.
39 years old.
Right?
That's tragic in and of itself.
Absolutely. Okay, you just mentioned Bieber.
Speaking of
Here's the deal.
the Biebs.
I know. Like, okay, so we just talked about him a few days ago. He's been number one. He's just been in the news a lot because people are speculating that there's something going on with him. We've been on the side of like, listen, he also has a 6-month-old baby. You kind of act unhinged.
Well, he's got a
For
6-month-old
6 months.
baby. And also, can we talk about like his proximity in history to Diddy, and
Yes.
that's also probably weighing pretty heavily on him.
And you're going to lash out in unexpected ways.
Yeah, processing things might be difficult.
100%. And he was just at his wife, Hailey Bieber, just had a Road Beauty event. That's her beauty care line. And there's a video of him that went viral on social media where he's smiling and he's kind of swaying back and forth. And we were like, oh my God, he's high, he's on drugs, he's doing something. And we were of the opinion of he looks like he's just a dude having a conversation with someone he probably doesn't feel like talking to after 4 hours of making humor and small talk with people. Mm-hmm. His clothes look ridiculous. He's that oversized look. But that's the one thing about it that looks silly. It doesn't mean you're
that's
on drugs.
Kind of been his clothes have at many times in his life have looked silly. I'm just
silly.
I'm trying to be kind.
Silly's such a cute word, Colleen.
Silly. He wears silly clothes.
He looks ridiculous. Mm-hmm. He's got this new thing though with putting a hat on his head and rolling it up a little bit. And I don't want it to be a thing because it just, to me, looks like a condom coming off.
I think it already is a thing.
Oh, God. Did the kids do it?
I regretfully inform you. I think it is. I don't think it's all the way a thing, but I think it's starting to be a thing.
Because your kids are 18?
18, and then I have two 15-year-olds. And they exhibit some interesting fashion choices.
Do they wear the condom on the head thing?
Not yet, but I've seen friends of theirs show up with that entire situation.
Oh my God. Yeah. Take a look at the pictures, people, and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's what it looks like when it's not rolled down.
It does.
That's what it looks like.
It does. Just right out of the wrapper.
right there.
Just saying.
So Biebs, his people have just come out like literally yesterday and been like, listen, you guys stop. He's not on drugs. Stop talking about him like this. It's harmful. It's not good. He just did a charity event where he was skating a hockey tournament for the fires in California. He seemed totally fine. He did an interview, but he did just post this really wild video. And I'm like, WTF are you doing? What are you doing? The thing is, posting these videos.
He knows what the buzz is about him and he does not care.
No. Clearly, This video, this man, he's eating some kind of chips. He's got his shirt off. He's bouncing back and forth with his hands up. And
who among us hasn't done that? I get excited when I eat chips too.
Bounce with my hands back and forth and say, high like a fly guy. I fly high like a magpie. I go high like a bad guy. And it's a 7-second video of him and his friend smoking a cigarette and they look unhinged. And I'm not saying it's oh, he's on drugs. I think he's just high. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, why are we adding fuel to this fire?
Yeah. Leave Bieber alone is what I hear you saying.
Leave him alone.
Leave
also,
Bieber alone.
Biebs, give your wife your phone if you feel like leaving the house.
Yeah, I think he doesn't care. I just think he doesn't care. I think he's been through this enough. He just does not care.
I will say when you read the comments, people are wildly obsessed with him.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of people that are sending book paragraph long, Justin, I want you to know how loved you are and I care about you. And I'm like, y'all are on, you are actually, now I retract my statement. He's a little whatever, I'm going to do my thing, as Colleen said. Mm-hmm. All of y'all commenting are unhinged. To be that obsessed with a human being that you've never met.
And they just are concerned for his well-being.
But I'm concerned for their well-being.
I know. I'm with you.
What are we doing?
Find
Leaving
a
paragraphs to him.
Oh, wow.
Seriously, that energy could be used to save the monarch butterfly.
So true.
If you want to do something out there, work on that.
Yeah, use your power for good.
Good.
Please.
Help the butterflies. I don't know.
Video's been posted on our Shieldings page if you want to watch him flying high like a magpie.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of this, Mike?
I think he's really, really good at knowing how to get attention right now. Yeah. And he knows exactly, like Colleen said, what the storyline's been, what people are thinking he's up to. Plus, let's not forget, it was less than a month ago he teased new music. So there's a reason why he posted himself in his tidy whities next to a really cold river, even though shrinkage was a factor. There's reasons why he's been posting these pictures and doing these things. I still think we've got new music from Bieber coming very, very soon. He's making sure he's in our mouths.
In the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, I would just maybe go about it in a
slightly
different way.
Yeah.
You know, again, he's tired.
Daddy's tired. He's got a
Daddy's
6-month-old.
tired. Yeah.
Honestly, though, Haley's more tired, and she looks fantastic.
She
as
does
always.
look like a 10 out of 10 at all times.
all the time.
Yeah. I did not look like that. Ever, really.
No, I don't.
But I
think
was going to
did
say
either.
6 months after giving birth, but really ever.
I think like the lead up when she was pregnant, I was like, oh my God, she's the kind of person that you look at when you're thinking about having a baby, and you go, I could do that.
Yeah. She's like the person she's the picture you bring into the salon and you go, this is how I want my hair to be. And then you get done with the haircut and you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, that's not what I was thinking. And then you realize what you wanted was to actually look like the person and not like yourself with their haircut.
You're like, oh, what do you mean I'm not a size 0 married to Justin Bieber
Whoops.
now?
Whoopsies.
She
all been
is.
there.
She is. I remember like being pregnant and looking at people like her in their maternity photos and being like, okay, I'm going to try to replicate that.
No. No, I did not win that genetic lottery.
The Pinterest fail of it all. It was like,
gosh,
delete this forever. There's a photo of me. I had one really cute photo that I took at Fox 9 because I was all dolled up and like, because I was working on air.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cute. And I'm like, oh, baby's due date, whatever. The very next photo is a picture of Jordan and I sitting outside, and he's rubbing my belly, trying to get this baby to come out, end quote. Like, and my face, the amount of chins, the greasy hair, the uncomfortability of it all, and the fact that I'm wearing my Taco John sweatpants because they're the only pants that fit.
I love that for you.
It's like, that is my 9 months pregnant look.
My version of this is after Kate Middleton gave birth.
Oh my God.
And they really, she came out with like her hair perfect and her makeup done and fitting into a beautiful, flattering dress in high heels, no less.
Yes.
And I looked back at the pictures of me after I'd given birth for the first time, like swollen limbs.
Right?
Like just looked miserable. Pain. And I just thought, well, that's not how that
the good Lord gave
me.
us all the genetic lottery to some people.
Some people. And then the rest of us got good personalities.
Those photos in the hospital, Colleen, where you're like, oh yeah, let's take a picture of my newborn.
Yep.
I look at my husband and I'm like, I loathe you entirely for looking so good in this photo.
Right?
Because I remember even braiding my hair so that it would go over my shoulder a little bit. I don't have like thick, super long hair, but I was like, oh, it looks nice. And I put on a little mascara. I was feeling really good about myself. Yeah. I just lost 10 pounds of baby.
Yeah.
And I look at those photos, I'm like, girl, you look like you have marshmallows stuck in your cheeks, like one poke and you're going to combust.
But like, that's real. That's real.
They will never see the light of day.
Those are the ones you hide deep in a treasure chest.
So far
and bury
away.
it.
So far away. That is blackmail.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been talking to you guys about Hot Mess. Colleen, how much do you know about the Unwell Network?
Literally zero. I'm going to need you to start from the beginning.
Okay. There's 2 Alexes involved.
Okay.
So we might just refer to them as Earl and Cooper.
Which
kind of makes them sound like men.
Yeah, or like a firm. Like some sort of firm. The firm of Earl and Cooper.
So please keep in mind that they are not a law firm.
They are not.
Nor are they men.
Got it.
They are 2 very blonde women. So Alex Cooper of Unwell, she used to work for Barstool Sports. She had a podcast with them, eventually left. She and the man who run Barstool, Dave Portnoy, they have a pretty good relationship. He's been on her show. Well, it did so well, her show Call Her Daddy. Like, she even had Vice President Harris on during the last election cycle. So she gets big names. Well, she started her Unwell overall network back in 2023. She's going to bring on other podcast hosts, like start selling beverages, things like that, make it an entire baby. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. One of those hosts was Alex Earl. She's a 23-year-old at the time. She really made a name for herself on TikTok because she was partying so hard at the University of Miami, and she's super hot.
Okay.
So like,
that'll do it.
It works. So she brought her on for a weekly podcast where she would basically just go over the shenanigans she had gotten herself into that week. Anywho, fast forward to about Super Bowl season. And there'd been rumors that there was maybe some issues between Cooper and Earl being the younger of the Alexes, that maybe Earl's manager, who happens to be her father, was not very happy with how she was being treated. She alluded to it in a couple of her podcasts that her dad had quote unquote hard conversations, people who weren't appreciating what Earl could give to the world. And you're like, you're talking about her boss that we all know, Alex Cooper. So they go to the Super Bowl, and the Unwell Network, Alex Cooper's people, they have an actual party of their own. They're at all these different events. Earl is there, but she doesn't show up to the party. She's there with her boyfriend who played in the NFL, but she doesn't go to the party. And like the way that we described it to people listening to was like, if all of my talk went to a giant Super Bowl party, hosted a giant party, and Brittany Arneson just didn't show up.
Yeah.
Like you'd be like, what the hell?
What is that?
Like you're in Minneapolis.
Something's going on.
What's going on? Right.
Yeah, you were in the proximity.
Yeah, you were partying down the street.
Yeah.
Like what's going on? As of yesterday, Alex Cooper's Unwell Network dropped Earl.
Ooh.
Sirius XM stopped selling ads. Basically, then the network came out like, yep, she's no longer part of the brand. She can take her entity wherever she wants. Well, so there really wasn't like, there's a lot to that rumor. Clearly, they were not getting on very well. Remember that guy, Dave Portnoy, who runs Barstool, who used to run Alex Cooper's podcast?
Totally.
Oh, he inserted himself right into this drama. He immediately posts on Instagram or on TikTok and on Instagram to this Lion King Circle of Life song playing in the background, a video of him like cheersing with a picture of Earl's phone number and a 22-minute outgoing call. And he's like, oh, I know what needs to be done. The circle of life has come. And people are like, oh my God, so she's moving to Barstool, which is this like whole incestuous thing, right? That they're all doing this. He later writes in the comments, I didn't call her. I just thought this was funny. But
so that's not real, or is it real?
I don't know. I think he's trolling all of us. I think he did call her because she is taking millions of followers with her.
Yeah.
I've got an update.
Ooh. What?
Well, all we know, she hasn't said anything too far until earlier today. She had a Get Ready With Me video.
That's what she like really got famous for.
Yes, that's what she got famous for. And she said, I'm not ready to maybe reveal my plans from a podcasting standpoint, but she is ready to reveal she's investing in a unnamed alcohol brand. Now, Dave Portnoy, in that video that he just posted, is cheersing with a High Noon, the alcohol brand that he owns.
He owns High Noon?
Okay, so that's
He launched High
interesting.
Noon.
That is interesting.
I guess he helped launch it. I don't know if he technically how much he owns of it, but he definitely, I think, has a pretty big piece of it because he's always promoting it every chance he gets.
Yeah.
But he has some sort of an agreement with him. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe those two have something to do with each other. Maybe that's why he had a 22-minute call with her. She says the more details will be announced in March.
Okay, which is not
Just
that far
ironing
away.
them
Not that far
out,
at
like how much money she's going to be making.
How many millions?
Yeah, exactly.
Could
Also,
be. We'll see.
it's just so funny because when this all started, she was kind of like Alex Cooper's protege. She was like, I love her shit. Like Alex Cooper would ring, like she'd be like, you don't understand how hard this girl works. She makes it look so easy. She's amazing. And then all just kind of started quieting down. And Alex Cooper started putting her money in her mouth toward other hosts on her network. So clearly something happened. Like who knows what?
Who knows if we'll ever know? Although I will
know.
say if she lands somewhere else / when she lands somewhere else, that's going to be a reason that people will be tuning in.
There's no way she didn't sign an NDA though. There's no way she didn't sign something.
But NDAs are so dicey right now, right? Like,
right.
I think, I don't know. I think if you are making enough money, breaking an NDA is not the worst thing. I'm just saying.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Like if you're making enough money and you know that breaking your NDA will actually in the long run make you more money, it might be, that's a calculation is all I'm trying to say. Yeah, carry the one.
I suppose because at the end of the day, the fact that she got to leave with the name, with everything, like it was just like, we're just gonna let her go.
Yeah,
like there's no way that there wasn't something involved.
She's
Like
got
you cannot talk
something.
about what happened.
Yeah,
I just, and there was, and I kind of forgot about this, but I just thought of it. There were some tweets from Alex Earl, the younger one who's leaving, from 2013 when she's like 10 years younger than me. So she was 13 years old-ish when this happened, where she said a couple of racist things. And I don't remember exactly what they were. I honestly can't remember, but she immediately apologized and was like, listen, I was an idiot teenager. I was repeating stupid things. I'm so sorry. But that seemed to be kind of around the time that Alex Cooper started distancing herself. And so I'm wondering if, even though the Unwell Network is all about like, live your life, have a crazy time, let's talk about it, like all the things that you're not supposed to talk about in polite company. If she was like, you might be a little too much. Like, you might be a little too iffy.
Yeah.
And my insurance policy doesn't want to cover you anymore.
Not interested.
Interesting. Okay. You sent this story about this Missouri woman.
Oh, my gosh. You guys, this is the most bonkers crime. Have you heard about this?
What?
I saw the headline and I thought, pardon me? The headline is Missouri woman pleads guilty in a scheme to steal Graceland.
Oh my God, I forgot about this story.
I had not heard this. I'm like, this is entirely bonkers.
It's wild.
This woman, her name is Lisa Janine Finley, and she has now pled guilty to mail fraud, which essentially was her way of saying, yeah, y'all, I did it. So she formed a fake company and used that fake company while she also, by the way, forged the signature of a notary and I believe also maybe a judge, and sent a letter to the people who manage Graceland, including Riley Keough.
Yep.
And said essentially, like, you are in debt to us.
Oh, yeah, because she made it seem like Lisa Marie had done drugs and put Graceland as collateral.
Yes. Yep. And by the way, the name of the company that she made up was Nasani Investments, which makes me feel like she was drinking a Dasani water and was like, I need to name this. Let's Dasani. Yeah,
sounds legit.
But they could tell, like, based on the letters she sent, and they could kind of tell, they were like, oh, something about this doesn't smell right.
Yeah.
So Riley Keough objected and was like, this is ridiculous. Anyway, they found her out. They brought her to court. She pled guilty. I'm totally shortcutting this entire story. But the other thing to know about her is she had been found guilty in the past of other fraudulent relationships. I think she's a career frauder. Like, that's all she does.
Okay, if I'm remembering this right, too, she almost got away with it. Am I right?
Well,
like, was very close.
I mean, she thought she was very close. I don't know. Because at the end of the day, when you started to, like, go down the rabbit hole of like, who is Nasani Investments?
Yeah.
There's not enough there to prove it. Like, it's one of those, it's like a rabbit hole that keeps pointing you in other directions. And I think that's ultimately, but I think she thought she was close.
Dang.
Isn't that wild?
I think it's so wild because I just remember before or right after Lisa Marie had died, and it wasn't like this woman was not at all involved at this point, but the gossip rags were talking about how, like, is Graceland going under? Like, Priscilla Presley and Riley Keough don't know what to do because the rumor is Lisa Marie went on a bender and put Graceland up as collateral
and I'm
for
sure
this money she put down.
This and was like, I've got an idea.
That's wild. And it was all just one unhinged woman.
Yes. Just all by herself.
Yeah. Speaking of unwell, she's unwell.
Yes.
God, we need to be more creative. That's what I learned from this story. We need creativity.
So we end up in jail?
Yeah. I feel like we're creative enough. Let's leave the creativity to the criminals.
Okay. Hey, guys, I'll walk that back.
Okay, thanks.
It's fine. Hey, if you are watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you think of all this drama.